one.
Welcome to Getting to Know You, Stonebridge residents and staff. We have a special treat. We're on a special site. We're interviewing Sylvia Wagner, who is a neighbor of Susan Finley, and we stopped at her house to take a look at her beautiful garden before we sit down for the interview. It's amazing what you can see at Stonebridge. Come take a walk and look at it for yourself. We were so happy to be here on Valentine Lane for a change and to see that lovely garden. Now when we're going to sit down, let's take a look at the view of the field because that is so beautiful, especially in the summer when everything is so green.
It's wonderful.
So
Beautiful
thank you
is
for
right.
letting us sit in the back of your house, Sylvia. Sylvia, we're so glad to be in your backyard on this beautiful day and getting to know you today. I think it's our 6th episode, is an interview with Sylvia Wagner, who will be starting her term as a member at large on the executive committee of the Resident Association. And we thought it would be fun, as I had mentioned, to be in a neighborhood and give people a chance to see what it's like down here, and anybody can come down here if they want to walk around. So
They're more than welcome.
all right. So, Sylvia, when I started telling people that you were going to be the next person on, a couple of people were really so pleased, and they said, because, well, Sylvia and Bruce, your husband, they do a really wonderful thing. And do you know what they were referring to?
Probably that we invite them for dinner.
That's right. Yeah, that you make it your special effort to
Yes.
invite people. How do you go about doing that? Are you really organized like that?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I am. But I used the roster,
Uh-huh.
find out when they came in,
Mhm.
and tried to get as many as possible. But I cannot keep up. It just doesn't seem so. But the wonderful thing is, everybody has their own story.
Right.
So every night it's a new adventure
Right.
in learning about people who
Yeah.
are here.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking that it's nice that the welcome committee is organized to welcome people, but then to get a call from somebody who's not part of an organized effort, just doing it because they're interested, is really a nice idea. And I guess all of us could really think about doing some version of that, right?
It really is very, very pleasant.
Well, thank you for that. You're appreciated. Now, several other people also mentioned, oh, yeah, well, Sylvia takes care of the list. And so there has to be a backstory. I happen to know there is. But so before we hear about the list, how did this idea get started that you were taking care of the list? Can you tell us the little history?
Yes, as you know very well, Ingrid, back in January of 2017,
Mm-hmm.
there was a march on Washington, a women's march on Washington. And it was by far the largest single-day protest in U.S. history.
Right.
And a lot of women here at Stonebridge really wanted to go to that protest.
Right.
But being of the age that we are, some of us felt it was unwise. But Ingrid did go.
I didn't go because
I
my
know.
daughter-in-law said I'm coming from California.
So
Out of that grew
out of
another
that-
thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So there was a woman here by the name of Lee Levine who said we should have our own march. Let's meet in the living room. And so a whole gang of us arrived, and it was such a great day. And we talked about issues and so forth. And she said, "Let's not let this die. Let's."
So it didn't die.
No, it didn't.
and
He
and,
was
and the
very-
list now is part of what came next.
That's right. I have that list on my computer, which is why I'm called the secretary of the group.
And so what's been the result?
Well, the group has really been very active. We have done any number of correspondence with our congressmen and people who have high positions. For example, we got in contact with our Congressman Tom Malinowski to ask him to be sure to make sure that SNAP program,
Right.
which is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program for those in low income, and we asked him to make sure that it got funded, and we sent a huge banner to Scott Pruitt
Who was
on
then
Earth
EPA?
Day.
EPA?
Yes, Environmental Protection Agency. about concerns about the environment.
Right.
And we've also had some visitors here from Montgomery
Right.
who have offices, and
Yeah.
so we try to keep up. We use postcards, we use emails, we use telephone calls, any way we can get in touch with
Right.
people.
And it's just people who really want to be active, see beyond our little island of Stonebridge.
That's correct.
Know that we have a mayor and a legislator, and so on. And it's great to have that list so you can tip people off and
We try to keep
yeah.
in touch.
Right, that's really great. Okay. Sylvia, you also have been just active at Stonebridge. I guess people enlist you. And so could you tell us a little bit about some of your activities and maybe slide into that, what you might want to do on the executive committee? What would you be watching for?
Well, that's a little bit in my future. Right now, I'm
Right.
trying to deal with what I'm already involved
Okay.
with. I did the nominating committee
Right.
when I first got here, and believe it or not, the thing I spend most time in is the library.
Right. Okay.
And I work with Sheila. We have a great way of dealing with the library. She takes care of all the processing of books. I take care of making sure they get on the shelf and stay in their correct order.
Who's in charge of getting people to return them?
That we have not come up with a soundproof
but
way of
we
doing
can
that.
tell people to remind them to return the books.
Yes, absolutely. So we have the two teams, and
Yeah.
that's worked very well.
Yeah, good. So, but people here at Stonebridge all have had a life before Stonebridge. So, can you tell us a little bit about what you and Bruce did and before you came here, and maybe sort of informed what you're doing now?
Well, we came from Long Island, which people are surprised at because there are not many of us here. But our daughter had lived in Princeton for a number of years, so we got to know the area and liked it, and found out about Stonebridge, and here we are.
Okay.
I also had the situation of trying to find a place for my mother when she developed Alzheimer's. Worst experience of my life trying to find a place for her. And so I said, we're not having our girls go through this. We're going to find a place where we can spend
Good
our
thinking.
last
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So professionally, I was in early childhood education for about 30 years.
How important.
Oh, it was wonderful. Had a great job. And during that time, I also got a chance to do some children's television on NBC.
Oh, okay.
That's when we were living in New York, and that was a fascinating experience.
You might be sought after now. The kids are all learning from
Well,
television.
there's a lot of children's television on now,
Yeah.
much more so than
Yeah, I
back
can,
when I
I
was
can
doing
imagine,
it.
but that sounds
Yes.
like being a pioneer. It's really a great thing to be doing that. So I guess we'll end up with having you say a little bit more about what you might want to watch for as you're on the executive committee. And since you already know a lot of people, I guess I should say just keep talking to Sylvia, right?
Well, I'm still relatively new here, but I think one of the things, which just following up on having people for dinner, I get very concerned particularly about the single women here, especially during some time like we're going through now.
Right, right.
And just helping people get acclimated. Those of us who have a partner, it's so much easier, but we do need to keep an eye on the others.
I think that's true. And then, of course, we know every person here turns out to be an interesting person.
That's
right?
exactly
They
right.
all have stories.
That's absolutely
and,
right.
And it's really amazing if you just tap a little bit beyond the casual, well, hello, where are you from? Something happens, and it really is amazing. And so, well, I want to thank you for taking us outside of Stonebridge, helping us relate to the wider world, as well as doing so many wonderful things for us here at Stonebridge. So we
I'm
wish
enjoying
you well.
every minute of it. Thank you,
Thank
Ingrid.
you.